Okay, awesome. So today we're going to go over the work order. We're going to start with building a work order from the quote, okay? Then we're going to add products and then add products and labors just directly on the work order. We're going to go over change orders and importing those changes, okay? Ordering products, receiving, etc. with the product tracking, okay? We're going to go over allocating and prepping and product tracking for inventory as well. Then we're going to get into the installers. We're going to schedule installers, job details, and completion certificate for the portal and kind of cover all that stuff as well. Okay. So the first thing I want to start off is I'm just going to start with a basic quote. So there's my mouse. Okay. And now you guys can see my screen, right? All right, cool. No problems. All right, so I'm going to start with customers. I'm just going to go into Mickey Mouse, okay, and start creating the quote. Okay, so quote, create a new quote, and quote name, seminar work order, okay, and begin. I'm just going to import just a simple template for now, okay, hit save. All right. So now when I convert this quote, okay, to an invoice, the work order is going to automatically be created the same way. So we have the vinyl here, right? And then the work order is already there, okay? And it's built and it's exactly the same. But if we went to the work orders page here, we do not see the work order, okay? The reason why we do not see the work order here is because it is not signed, therefore it's not considered a job. So if you can't find the work order, it's most likely because that invoice has not been signed. Okay. Now you can always find the work order through the invoice. Okay. And I use the term backdoor into the work order by going through the invoice. So the work order is always there. It's just not going to populate until it's signed because that's when it's considered a job. Right? So now I'm going to mark it as signed. As soon as I do that, okay, then the work order is going to populate here. Okay. Keep in mind we don't have to go through the work order each time. Remember in the upper right, you can flip from the invoice to the work order on what side you are. Okay. So when you add in your products from your list, okay, so I'm going to go back to the invoice. Okay. When you add your products from the list and labors from the list, they automatically will generate on the work order. Okay, the same with add line items, material line item, and labor line items. Those will automatically translate into the work order. Okay, expense line items will import at the top. Okay, the quote invoice line item is the only thing that does not import to the work order. Okay, so if you don't want to import anything to the work order for whatever reason, you're going to add a quote invoice line item. If you're charging the customer but you don't have a price associated with it, like let's say your installer includes it in the square foot price, but you're adding it in anyways, okay, things like that. So this will not import. So if you add quote invoice line item and you're wondering why it's not importing, it's because you added this type of line item instead of a material or labor line item. Okay. Now when we flip back into our work order, okay, it's built out because we added the products from our list. Okay, and the vinyls from our list. Okay, now you see the different symbols here. This is because this was added in as a line item, so you have a different symbol there. When we add labor, okay, and we add a general labor, okay, that one actually is going to have an even different symbol. So this is like your general labors. These are more your specific labors, and then these are line items. So that's what those symbols mean on the left-hand side. Is it vitally important to the system? No, but it can help you track things if you're trying to figure out how something got a certain way. Any questions so far? Yeah, we got one chat. Yes. So if you're adding in a line item, you would need to select the vendor in order for it to show on the paperwork. Yes, you're going to have to select a vendor. Hopefully you're not adding line items as material though. Hopefully you're adding it from your list that you guys have created over time through B2B or imports and things like that. The goal isn't, to add the line item. Hopefully you're only adding the line items in rare and weird circumstances. And then to kind of answer the next question, we're going to be working on the formatting there very soon. So the formatting of the quote, so you'll be able to make it customized exactly how you want. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over change orders. Okay, so once this is converted, something changes. How do we change it? Okay, so if you're going to charge the customer for it, okay, if you're going to charge the customer for it, you need to obviously change it on the invoice, right? That's the customer-facing side of the job. The work order is your internal and job costing. So if we're going to charge the customer for it, I truly recommend importing as a different service so you can kind of see the differences. So we're going to import template and, and change it, but it's not going to let us change it. The reason why is this invoice is signed, so we need to reset it in order to make the change order on the invoice, okay? So add product. Let's just say we're adding a duplicate room, okay? Just make it super simple, okay? And save. Now when I've made those changes, I'm going to mark it as signed again, okay? And now when I go into the work order, okay, that's not there, okay? The reason why is after that invoice is generated, after the work order and invoice are generated, they're separate. So what do I do? Because I don't want to do the double work. Okay, a lot of people complain about double work. You shouldn't be doing double work. You should just be going up here and seeing material and labor on the invoice page, and it shows these all highlighted in new. Okay. Work order actions, you can also import material and labors. You can do that as well. Okay, but we gave you that symbol to recognize those changes. As you can see, all these say new. Okay. So I can, select the ones I want, or I can select them all and import those changes, okay? So now we have those changes in there. Now, let's say I'm going to just very quickly change this unit cost. We'll say we got a price break on it for whatever reason, and now it's $349. And I hit save, okay? Now, when you look at it, there's going to be a change up here. But this change is going to be the pricing, and it even highlights what's been changed. It changed from $368, so that's what it is. Now you can see it's $349, okay? Now that was on purpose, so in this case I wouldn't want to import this change because this change is marked out, because I purposely changed it because I was given a price break, okay? But if there's any discrepancies at all, you're going to see that symbol there, okay? Anyone have a question as far as change orders and importing? Also, there are changes that you don't want the client to see, okay? So, for example, I have this Bostik adhesive that's coming from Mohawk, okay? Bostik adhesive coming from Mohawk. Let's just say that I'm going to order the product and I find out that a different vendor is creating the same thing. So when I search up the Bostik adhesive, did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I did. I put CK instead of K. Now, so adhesive, we have the product here. Let's say a different vendor is having a sale on the same product, so I'm just going to put it in as Zap Floors, okay? So now Zap Floors is selling it, but they're selling it at a different product price. So let's say $140, okay, and give it the 20 discount, okay? So now when I import these changes, and import this material, it doesn't really matter where I'm ordering it from in this case, because it's the same materials. We know we can get this from many different, this Bostik adhesive specifically from many different areas. Sorry, I did inventory instead of non-inventory. Okay, so I recently added it to the top. Okay. Oh, we're gonna delete that. Save, and now I'm going to add it in here. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, now I've added it in here. So now I've made the changes. And now when I look at this, because I deleted other ones, it's going to say that, oh, you forgot these materials, okay? But in reality, I didn't forget these materials. I just didn't bother changing the invoice because all that really mattered was the vendor, and the vendor doesn't really matter in this case to the the vendor doesn't really matter in this case to the client. Okay. So why doesn't the work order just populate with the most current version of the invoice automatically? Okay. The reason why is in cases like this that I just showed you, that is purposeful changes. So in this case, I purposely changed the vendor, and it's not worth changing the invoice and to the client because they're still getting what they want, right? The adhesive you use doesn't matter. You build them for the adhesive. It doesn't matter that you got it from a different vendor. So honestly, it's more about just not changing it for the client. And when there's purposeful changes, like when you do and you change it here, if you're automatically changing it, then it would overwrite those changes that you've purposely made. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So in this job, I switched the vendor on this Mohawk adhesive from Mohawk to Zap Floors. Okay. So I never changed the invoice. As you see on the invoice, it still says Mohawk. Okay. So this allows me to make changes to the work order and my job costing that don't reflect that I don't want to reflect in the invoice. Also, it could be like I need to add extra labor. So let's say when I add in an extra labor, again, I'm adding in a general labor, and I need to move some heavy furniture. Okay, I'm gonna add it in. When I move the heavy furniture, it's not worth charging the client the extra $30 for this, but I've made the changes. And so there's a difference in them because this is what I have to pay my installer, but I'm not going to charge the customer for it because it's just really not worth it. Okay, so those purposeful differences is the reason why we don't make it automatically sync all the time. If you make the changes in the invoice and you want to see them in the work order, then it's just going in and just hitting import. So it's just the one button click. And then it may be you're waiting to get approval and you don't want to import it and all your people to see it until you get approval from the client as well. So you may want to change it, but you may not want to sync it yet because you're waiting on approval from the client because they haven't signed that new invoice that you've sent out or something like that. Okay. And then also if you synced it automatically, it would pull in all the updates as well, right? Now, once the work order is built, okay, so change orders and importing, okay, and the difference that they're separated. So ordering products, receiving, okay. So when you order products, you're going to go here to the shopping cart, okay. And when you order products, it's going to order all the products from the same vendor. So since these are both from Mohawk, we got both these Mohawk products here. Okay. Now, when you're ordering products, you can order, 3 different ways. You can order by phone number. You have that set up here. If you have the website set up to the portal, you can actually just click on it and it'll take you right to, in this case, it would be like Mohawk Exchange. Okay. And then the print, send, order information here. Okay. So we hit print, send, order information, and this allows you to send it by email. It sends as an attached PDF. So you hit send email, it shows that it attaches it to PDF. It's Mohawk purchase order. So it shows the vendor, it shows, the purchase order number, and the PDF. And it says reply to, and then Floorzap purchase information template. Okay, shows the vendor information, job details, and the material information here. Then you can hit send email. Okay, and it sends it automatically to the email you have on file. So that email you have on file, half the time it's like the order desk at Mohawk, half the time it's just the rep's email because people just order everything through reps that they have good relationships with. So don't be afraid to set it as your rep's email. Okay. Once we go here and mark it ordered, okay, so you mark it ordered and then material ordered, okay, then we go here and you're able to put the order number in. So this is the reference number or order number you get from the manufacturer. You're able to select where you want it to ship to. So warehouse 1, put in, estimated freight cost, fuel surcharges, other things, and any discount they give you. So yes, so freight charges is for the traditional freight charges. Other costs are for all those other nickel and dime costs that they're doing nowadays that you guys are well aware of. Okay, and then we go down here. The discount is obviously any discount, which never seems to happen anymore. Gives you the vendor invoice total here. So this is what the system is calculating at your total. Okay, and save. It says you want to save total. If you come back later and you get that bill and that bill is slightly off, sometimes that the unit cost is rounded for whatever reason to like 3 or 4 digits. I hate it when they do that, but they do it. So sometimes your total will be slightly off. So you can go in here and you can actually edit this total up here. Now 21, oops, didn't read my period. So you can set that difference 2021 and 50 cents. He doesn't like it. And 50 cents. Okay. And when you do that 50 cents there, it shows the difference between what it calculated and what you've actually manually put in and overrode as the price. Okay. Then when we go and hit save, okay. And now it is in there. Okay, you can see it's ordered, and then you can see it's total. As you change things up here, you can see your price will change up here as well. Now we're going to go in here and order the next product. Okay, I'm going to move it just simple ordered. Again, it's the reference number that's needed. As you can see, this purchase order is the job number -2. Okay, this case, smaller freight, no fuel surcharges, no discount, so it's $290. We get that and save. As soon as I edit that price, you're going to see that this material count went from 2301 to 2311, just because we added in that extra $10. Okay, so it's live calculating up here. These numbers up here are live calculated. Like I said, if I go here and select the labor and do the vinyl installation, and now I've added in $336, you can see my total labor cost went up. When I delete it, it goes back down. Okay, so these numbers are live calculated. The material is put in the green section and the labor is in the blue section. It also calculates the total by service here. Okay, the commission is obviously live calculated as well if it's by profit. So when I enter in the vinyl installation again, it's going to lessen the profit. I remove it, it bumps up the profit again. Okay. Any questions as far as ordering the material or the boxes up here, besides other expenses, which I'm about to dive into? What about freight and notes? Adam, can you break down what you mean by notes?
Yeah, there's a note section right by the freight section at the bottom, like when you're generating the order or the purchase order.
Yep. So these notes are internal notes that you want about this purchase order. That's all they are.
Okay. Because I couldn't find that on the purchase order earlier. I was playing with it. But what about the carrier? I couldn't see that on the purchase order either.
The carrier, I believe, is going to go here because we've actually updated this so you have the shipping information as well. So the carrier is actually going to be updated. I think it's actually on there on the newest update. This demo site I'm using isn't the newest update, so that is actually changing.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. These other expenses up here, okay, allow you to put in things that aren't traditional materials or labor. The most common example that we have is credit card fees. So you can put in a credit card fee and whatever they would charge you for it. Okay, those credit card fees are automatically added if you set it up in the system. So this automatically puts in that credit card fee and puts it in job costing. It affects your totals. So as you can see here, when I put in a ridiculous amount for a credit card fee and hit save, now all your totals up here have changed and your profit on the job is going way down. Okay. Now, when I go back up and delete this, or I'm just going to make it small so we can remember that we did it instead of deleting, then, the profit is a little bit different. Okay. Any questions as far as other expenses? Okay, the only other thing I'm going to say with other expenses is other expenses are considered already paid for in our system, so you don't go and pay them on the left just because a lot of times it's credit card fees or other stuff that like come out or financing fees or things like that. They're automatically out. You don't actually pay them, so we just consider it paid as soon as they're entered in the system. Now, we're going to go into the product tracking. So product tracking here, you can click on the job or click on the product, a little symbol, and we're marking it as received. Okay. So we go in and we marked it as received. That just means it's obviously come into our warehouse, okay, and we're marking it as received. The next stage is prepped, okay. What prepped means, or prepared, sorry, is prepared means it's on the pallet ready for the installer. So that means you put it back in a bin originally, and then once it's about to go out the next day, that's when you moved it as prepared. That just lets you know it's no longer on your guys' shelf and probably on a pallet waiting for the installer by the door, because you're probably doing this the night before to get ready for the jobs the next morning. Okay. So now we have it marked as prepared. Okay. Once it's picked, the next stage would be picked up, which would be out of the warehouse, and I'm going to go over that in a little bit. Okay. So any questions as far as non-inventory product tracking? Cool. Okay. Now, as far as an inventory product, so I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to select an inventory product. And I'm going to say they changed their mind and wanted to add this wood. Okay. And now we can see this 9 cartons of the Premier Collection from Mohawk, European Oak are in here. Okay. So in our old system, okay, or before the update, remember this product would automatically be considered allocated if it was in a work order. Okay. Now it does not do that. You have to manually allocate it if you're adding it later. If you're doing it before and you added it to the quote, it's automatically allocated on signature. Okay. If you're adding in later, then it's not going to be automatically allocated. Okay. So again, in this case, we're adding it later. So instead of the vinyl, they want this wood. Okay. Or we're going to keep the vinyl. We'll say we want it in addition to. Then we're going to go in here and we're going to mark it and do the product tracking allocated. Okay. Allocated means it is promised to a job. It means it is engaged to a job. This doesn't mean the product has moved. It is still on your shelf. It's just already been sold. So think of, a lot of people add sold tags to the boxes, okay, when they're still on the shelf. We haven't moved them, but we've marked them as sold. That's what this means. This allocated is just basically putting a sold tag on those, nine cartons in this case, okay? The next stage is prepared. Okay, prepared means put on the pallet next to the installer, ready for the installer. This is very important because when you're doing inventory counts, from an accounting perspective, this product is still in your warehouse, even though it is in a different part of your warehouse. But if you were to count your inventory that's physically on hand, we're going to have an issue here. The reason why is because when you go and you count how many boxes you have on the shelf, if you don't mark it as prepared and just keep it as allocated, it'll say you have, 45 boxes on hand, but then you're an accountant and you're going to realize you only have 36. And you're going to think there's an issue and you'll make an adjustment. When in theory, you did have 45 on hand. It's just that 9 of them were prepared and in a different part of your warehouse. So that's why it's very important to mark things as prepared. So when you actually move that product from one place to another, right, to get it ready for the installer, that your warehouse marks it as prepared. Okay, because otherwise your inventory counts are going to be off. Then you're going to make adjustments. Then later next month you're going to make that same adjustment back if you're keeping track of your inventory. You marked it last month. You'll say you're 9 boxes short, and this month you'll have to add 9 boxes because you have 9 boxes too many, and you'll figure out. It'll take you a second, but eventually you'll figure out what happened. I've had clients do this. So very, very, very important to mark it as prepared because that means it's no longer on that shelf anymore. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Nothing in the chat. All right. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the installation portion of it. Okay. So in order to start, we need to select the contractor. I'm going to go here, select contractor, and we're going to select put in Flores. Okay. Okay. And then here, contractor actions, select, put in Flores. Okay. All right. So now he's selected. Once they've been selected, they can be scheduled. So I'm going to go contractor actions, add view schedule. Okay, and then I'm going to select days he's available. So he's busy there. So I'm going to go here, schedule him for 3 days, start him at 8 a.m. Let it go until 6:30. That's a little late. Special instructions. Okay. And then internal comments. So the special instructions will go to the contractor. Okay. But the internal comments will not. Okay, that's just something for your scheduling notes that you want. Okay, then we hit save, and they've added it. Okay, once they've been added, if you guys hear my phone go off right there, they get a text that they've been scheduled, which alerts them to let them know that they can then go and check the portal. Okay, their portal can be accessed either by just logging in with email and password, the text message that you can send them. So you can send them the direct access link, or the third way now is the app. That app should be on the Apple Store within the next week. Okay. I think it's going to be this week. We're just waiting for the final approval process. So you have to, jump through hoop after hoop to try to get an app out. But the app will be out for the contractors sometime this month. I can at least promise you that. Just when we get that, we're just kind of waiting on Apple for that approval at this juncture. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So give me a second to pull that up. Is there any questions in the meantime? All right, I got it pulled up. Is it sharing correctly? It's not displaying right on my side.
Android contractor schedule.
Yeah, you should be seeing the contractor schedule. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, good, because it's honestly not like Zoom's not displaying right. The Android app will be coming out here, I think, in like a month after that, but we're doing Apple first. Okay, I'll get you an updated timeline on that, Joe. All right, here, now if you remember when we were looking at the schedule a second ago, okay, that everything was red, and that's because we had assigned, we assigned our demo site put in Flores as red, okay? Now if you look here, these two jobs are no longer red, so yeah, see, they're red here, okay? But they're not red here. That's because to you, every contractor is the same color, but to the contractor, every job is going to be a different color. So just because they're seeing different colors than you, a lot of people think they can see other people's jobs and they panic at first. But if you look, it's the same exact jobs. It's just easier for the contractor to digest when you have different colors for your two jobs. Okay, as you can see, they're randomly generated. So every time I refresh, they pop in as different colors.
Random question.
Mhm.
So we have like 4 contractors. Is there a way to have them all on one schedule?
So when you look at it this way, this is because I have put in Flores selected, that's
Uh-huh.
all I'm seeing.
Okay, so if we had multiple, they would be different color,
Yeah, and
correct?
I'll show you what it looks like in a second. It doesn't let me, if I refresh this page, I'm going to lose it because it doesn't let me be logged in as a contractor and an admin at the same time. So when
Okay.
we go back in and we're done with the portal, then I'm going to show you,
All right.
actually, you know what might be better? Is I think I can do it on an incognito tab, can't I, Zach? So I'm going to just actually,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's going to let me. All right, so this will be better anyway. So now when I go to the schedule and I just go from the schedule here, now it's going to show the multiple contractors, all with their different colors. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the work order specifically that we're working in, and I'm going to kind of flip through, and you're going to see the changes as I make the changes in the contractor portal, how they affect the work order here. Okay. So now when I select my job, okay, first thing I can see is my job details. It shows me what I'm doing. I've been selected for 2 services. Okay. So customer information, their phone number, their address. If I click the address, okay, it takes me to Google Maps. Okay, you see here, it takes me to Google Maps, not very far away. That's not at all where I'm at, but interesting, it thinks that's what my location is. Okay, I'm over here. Anyway, then next is the warehouse. So the warehouse tells you the pickup location. Okay, so you go here, and it goes down, and you can see the 123 Main Street. Okay, so it takes you to the pickup location. The pickup, so where to pick up the products and then where to go once I pick them up. Okay, if you don't select a pickup location like we did for this purchase order, then it's not going to have one. Okay, and you can go and fix that within the shopping cart. Okay, so now when I go back and in this shopping cart, I'm going to select the pickup location, store location, main office. I hit save. Okay. Now when I go and refresh this page, okay, now I can see that the pickup location here has the address, and boom, I can see it. Okay, so you'd pick it up in the purchase. You change the pickup address in that specific purchase order. Now for the PO, so you see PO number 3. Okay, this is the inventory product here. It's in the warehouse. It's just wherever that inventory is stored is the pickup location. So whichever inventory it pulls from, that's going to be the location it is. Okay. Labor information here is going to tell you what they're doing, how much they're going to be cost. So you have the labor name and description. So that's how it appears in the work order. That's how it's going to import here. Then we have the quantity here. So how much they're going to be doing, how much they're going to be paid, per unit and overall. You can turn off the dollar amounts if for some reason you don't want to. About 50% of the customers have the unit cost here, 50% don't. So it just kind of varies. Okay. And they can see what they're doing. You see your comments here and your special instructions that we do here. Okay. Comments are added, okay, right here. So contractor notes, I added a comment, okay. I hit okay. And then now when I do that, refresh my page, okay. Oh, and I hit save on the work order. Sorry, guys. Contractor notes, save, refresh. I added a comment. Okay. Any questions with the job details page? Cool. Okay. Next option is job location. It's the shortcut to the shortcut. Now you go in here and it just takes you to the job site. Upload before pics, upload after pics, view those uploaded pics. So when I do upload before pics, okay, I'm going to select the file here, okay, and then I'm going to select the Floorzap logo here, okay. I select multiple, yes. Upload those two, and upload, and now I've uploaded before pics. Can upload an after pic, okay. I'm just our logo. Anything else? Save. Okay. Now I can view those pics I uploaded, so I can see the before pictures and the after pictures that I've uploaded. Okay. On the other side of things, okay, how do I view those uploaded pics on our side? So now we go here, work order actions. I can view documents. So view upload work order documents. I have my document here. That's my purchase order. I also have my before images and the after images. Okay. Also, if I upload my own before images, okay, to it, so I'm just going to do this computer, okay, and upload it. This computer's here. The contractor will also see this view, the before picture that you uploaded as well. So it's an ability for you to save pictures that you want them to see, or different files. You can upload it to that before images, and they'll be able to see it on their side. Okay, allows you to communicate and give extra information. Okay. Next here is material pickup. Okay. Material pickup allows you to pick up the material. You can see it's automatically checked with the quantity that they're supposed to pick up. They can, move it up or down if they need to. If there's any damage, you marked them all as picked up. You can only mark them, mark 2 of them as picked up. Hit save. Then he's going to go to that other location, mark the last one as picked up, hit save. Once that's happened, you're going to see that on the other side, okay, you see, boom, that picked up, and picked up. Because he picked up all of them, you see that who picked them up and on what date. Now, job status. This allows the contractor to say that they're complete. It automatically fills in the exact date and time that they do. They can put any notes. They can put a start date, other extra things in there. They hit save. They hit OK. Okay. You pull it up. And when I refresh my page, I can see that the job is marked and completed by Put in Flores. I can see here that it's the labor is marked complete. So that's their way to alert you and it's labor marked complete, and you'll get that alert in the system, and you can also get that text message as well. Okay. Any questions so far with the portal on anything I've gone over? Go. Last thing on here, completion certificate. I'm going to say about, not everyone uses this, but of the ones that use it, about 80% have it signed by the customer and about 20% have it signed by the contractor. Okay. What this is it allows you to get a signature from the customer that you've done the job. So this list is customizable. Okay. So you can see, are you satisfied with your installation? Yes. Leveling bags used. Okay, 5 times 20. Subfloor grinding hours, we'll say 1 hour at $80 or something. Okay. Moisture reading, which is way more important in the South. And then comments section, great job. Okay. Whatever I want to select. Okay. Now, these show you, again, this list is customizable under settings, completion checklist, if you want to edit any of these things. Okay. What I will say is I have displayed the 4 different types of fields. Okay. The first one is a yes, no checklist. Are you satisfied with your installation? Are you happy? Did they do everything they promised? There's a lot of different ways to phrase it. People say it. Did they use any leveling bags? Yes or no? Okay. They're able to do that. Are you satisfied with the installation? So we have a yes, no field. This, okay, is called a calculated field. So it does unit price or quantity times unit price and gives a total that's automatically added. So you see the invoice balance amount here and then the amount to charge here are different. I'm just going to make it a little bit more obvious. Okay, I'm going to do 50. Okay, 60. Okay, and now it goes from 66 to 70, right? So now you can see exactly what's going on there. Okay, it's a calculated field. This would be a numbers field. Okay, so it doesn't allow me to put in, I'm typing in letters, you can hear me type, doesn't allow it, it just calculates numbers. Okay, this can be moisture reading. Sometimes people don't want it automatically calculating the leveling bags and stuff, and they want to do it themselves, so they just have the leveling bags there. And the South, moisture reading is really important here in Houston because we flood all the time, and if you don't have moisture in check, you're going to have big issues. I know up north, out west, it's not as big as the biggest issue, but you can just put in where it's just a number. Okay, doesn't affect anything. And then the last one is it's called free text field, so it just allows them to put in whatever they want in a couple sentences as it goes. Okay, any questions with the completion checklist? Cool. Now down here, we have different payment methods which you can select in your company-wide settings. This is one that's unique, that's not in the invoice and only unique to the completion certificate. We have a none. Okay. The reason that we have a none is just in case you're doing multiple services. For example, carpet's always the last thing put in because it's the easiest. When you put in carpet, when you put in the vinyl before you put in carpet or put in the wood before you put in carpet, this is getting them to sign off on those additional charges, right, to the wood, right? The leveling bags, maybe extra glue used, extra steps, whatever, is it needs to be added to the wood. Keep in mind that these checklists are customizable by service, right? So you can make it wood specific. Transition pieces used, things like that, okay? So you add in what you want, but you don't want them to pay the balance yet. So you select no payment method and it's amount to charge. They're just agreeing to add $380 to their final balance, basically is what's going on. Is they understand that that's going to be added to their final balance, and so that's why they amount to charge, and then they're signing off that they agree to those additional charges. But that's why we have the none in there, is just in case there's multiple services. Okay. Everything else is going to run exactly like the invoice here. Click to sign. Okay. Sign. Voila. Saves. It sends a text message to the customer. Sends a text message to the salesman saying it's been signed. And that is the last option here on the installer side. Okay. Any questions as far as installer job options? Cool. Now I'm going to go back and work in the admin side. Oops, I got a task manager running. All right. Let me pull up the admin side. Okay. And pull up the admin side. When I refresh, the completion certificate is going to turn yellow. And remember, it's by service, so this isn't marked. But up here, this is marked labor complete, and you can see the completion certificate there. Okay. Now you can go up here, and you can see completion certificate there, payment method, they click none. You can see that as well. Okay. Now we're going to go into making payments. Okay, so all payments on the job can be done through this payments tab at the top. It's going to show you all the different payments that you can make or receive, in this case, from the customer. So we're going to add in a customer payment. When we receive this balance for the customer, let's say we're just billing them all at once, the amount paid is previous payments, and the payment amount is this payment right now. Okay, so we go in and we select check. We can put, check number, select the file, QuickBooks sync if we want it to sync. Okay, hit save. So now we do that. Now when we hit pay and we do the second one, you can see the amount paid is already in there and put in there. So now we're doing the second payment, which would be the balance payment, and we can say, they paid Zelle. You can put in the reference number that they give you, all of that, and hit save. Okay, and then you're collecting those payments. Obviously, if you're doing payment processing with us through the credit card, if they plug in the credit card information, you'll never have to do this because it's just automatically charging the card and inputting the payment for you. Okay, any questions as far as how to input customer payments? All right. Now that we got the customer payments, okay, how do we, the next step in the work order, this kind of job management work order is we need to pay our people, okay? So contractor actions, mark contractor ready for payment. Once that is done, put in Flores will be going into your accounts payable, okay? If you don't have them marked ready for payment, okay, so I'm going to remove it. I go to payments and I try to add in the contractor payment. It says warning, contractor is not marked ready for payment. To mark the contractor is ready for payment, please click on the contractor actions, okay, under the labor section. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add it, and that allows me to pay the contractor. Then I can go in and hit add contractor payment, and it automatically pulls up that contractor for me and pulls up any other jobs that they have. So you can see we have 2 more jobs that they're ready to pay on. Okay, the hold amount would be your retainer amount. Okay. Then we can put in how we're paying them, whether we're sending them to QuickBooks, what we're doing there, how we're paying them out of what account, keep track of your financials. Then we've hit save. Now you can see here, contractors add payment. Bob Builder is marked ready for payment on the job, but he has not received it yet. So you can see here. So you don't really have to run commission reports in our system or payment reports. Once it's marked in accounts payable, this on your payables page is only going to show things you need to pay. Okay. Now, when we go back, okay, you can see add manufacturer payment. So now we're going to hit add manufacturer payment, take us to the manufacturer payments page. Okay, you can see that we only have one payment from the Zap Floors manufacturer. Again, we can say we pay by credit card, so my Visa card, reference, bill date. So the bill date is the date you received the bill. The payment date is when you want it in Floorzap to take effect and say you paid on. So I could have received it on the 6th, but I'm telling Floorzap not to mark it as paid till the 7th because I'm going to sync it with QuickBooks in theory, because this one's not hooked up to QuickBooks, and you have like 30-day terms on your payment. Then we hit save, and boom. Now it's marked as saved. Now it's marked as paid. Now I can go here under Mohawk, and I can see that we got our job and a couple other jobs. I'm just going to pay them all at once. Okay, from the credit card. Again, Visa card, and hit save. Boom. Now it's been paid. Okay. The last person that would need to be paid most times is the salesman. Okay. So the salesman up here under work order actions can be marked ready for payment, and that sends them to accounts payable. If for whatever reason you need to change their commission. Okay. So in this case, the profit on the job has went down, okay? Because the profit on the job went down, we now have a different commission structure because we've been adding in all these different things. If we were to, change the profit on the job by, deleting some things, now the profit goes up. Sometimes, in curious cases, what will happen is because if you have a tiered commission, if this number jumps between like in this case, it'd be like a 34, if it jumps above 35%, so I'm going to just remove this product real quick, this inventory product. Remove it, and it live updates. His commission jumped to 40% commission because of the tier. So then when you add in a labor, okay, all right, boom. And then I'm going to add in maybe 20 of them. Let's see. Now his commission took a big hit because not only did the profit number go down, is because it put him into a different tier. And sometimes that's not fair for the salesman. Okay. So what you can do is you can do custom commission. Okay. Go here and, do an amount like $20 or do a percent. I'm going to give him 40% anyway, even though his commission went below. So now that custom commission, I've overrid his commission to that because it wasn't his fault, we'll say. Okay. So you're able to do that, override custom commission. You can also now split commissions. So you can go in and add a second sales rep. This allows you to split commissions, okay, between two reps. When you do it, okay, you're able to select the split, okay, of the commission. The commission is originally calculated based off the original salesman. So whatever his commission setting is, then he gets a cut of his commission. Okay, so even though that Braddock Archibald might have a different commission than Floorzap support, it's going off of Floorzap's support's commission structure because he's the original salesman, and then Braddock is getting a portion of that. Okay, so at times, they could be getting a lower commission. So if this guy gets paid 40% of the job, but this guy gets paid 30% of the job, he in helping him is only going to get a cut of his 30%. Okay. Any questions? No? Then mark salesman ready for payment. Okay. Once the salesman's ready for payment, then you'll be able to go into your payments and pay them. Okay. We got cash, check, credit card. Okay. All these different ways. We're going to say we pay them by wire transfer, just transfer into the bank. And we selected, we paid the main salesman. Then we also have Floorzap support. Go here. There's an automatic deduction created that we can add in. And then we're just going to pay in his commission. Let's say we paid him by check, put it in, and hit save. Okay. Then that job is completed. Once everyone's been paid, then you can go to work order actions. Mark job is completed. It'll let you. I paid the salesman just off, and then I haven't paid the contractor balance down here. So I'm going to go contractor, mark contractor ready for payment. Okay. And then payments, add contractor payment. Contractor's not marked ready for, I thought it just did. Hit save. Payments. Add contractor payment. Let's go to payments on the left here. Payable. Contractors, add payment. Now you can see them in here. Select the job and put in how we're going to pay him. Save. And then salesman, I'm just going to do a clear balance. Hold on. Accounts payable. Work order actions, mark job is completed. And the salesman balance of 1 cent. Go here. Unmark and ready for payment. Oh, I see what happened because it doesn't split because it was an odd number. So custom commission 1086.16. Hit save. Fully paid work order actions. Mark job is completed. Okay. Send a survey. It asks you if you want to send a survey to the client, and you can hit OK. And it will send that survey to the client so they're able to see it. You don't have to use Floorzap to pay your contractors, but you would have to mark them as paid in our system, however you pay them. Because you're not actually paying the contractors through our system, you're just logging the payment, right? So yes, you would have to log the payment in Floorzap in order to pay your contractors. Any other questions anybody has? Any shortcuts for paying the contractors? No, but all your unpaid contractors will be on that page, and you'll see all the jobs that it's marked, because you should be using it to do your job costing, so your payment amount should be right. So you should just be checking it for going. Closing out any shortcuts for closing out jobs? Nope, there is no shortcuts to closing out jobs. It's just about making sure everyone's paid, then it allows you to close out the job. Any other questions?
Thanks for the demo. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Wayne. I'm going to stick around if in case anyone wants to talk to me and ask anything more personal. I'm going to stop the recording if there's no pertinent questions.